Dear listeners from all across Africa, welcome to a new episode of Doing Business in Africa. Today, we're coming again with another critical topic. Our topic today is the topic or the domain that fuels all other sectors and all other businesses in Africa. Today, we're talking about energy and with a specific focus on renewable energy, because access to energy is crucial for the reduction of poverty and for the promotion of economic growth, ICT, education, infrastructure, promoting industrial growth, and so many other sectors that fully depend on the energy sector. And today we have a very specific focus on renewable energy, and we are speaking right to the expert. So today our guest is Diaa Eed. Diaa is an engineer by education. He has 11 years of experience in the energy sector, of which 5 years have been dedicated to the renewable energy, and Diaa is currently the regional manager for Middle East and Africa at Trina Solar. So let's welcome our guest for today and let's enjoy this energetic topic. So Diaa, very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the good introduction, and hello everybody.
So, well, we are a radio station, Diaa. So actually, people might not see you, but I'm sure everyone who's listening to us can feel the vibes, can feel the energy in your voice. So Diaa is like a very cheerful, energetic character, and we spent some time before of the show just to get to know each other, and really I felt like we're so happy to have such an energetic guest on the show today. So Diaa, usually we start by introducing our guest. So why don't you walk us through your biography?
Thanks, Summer. Then I think that you already had briefed and introduced me in a proper way. My name is Diaa Eed. I'm from Egypt. I'm an engineer by education. I had got my bachelor degree from Ain Shams University, class 2009-2010, in the electronics and electrical power. Then I had most of my career was in the energy segment, and have been working before for Philips. Then the past 5 years I have been focused on the renewable energy, specifically for the solar. Then I was just moving for one of the leaders in the industry for inverters. Then 1.5 years ago I joined Trina as a regional manager for Middle East and Africa.
That's exciting. You're really young, but you have such a promising journey ahead of you and a nice experience that you currently enjoy. So, Diaa, would you please introduce Trina Solar? Trina Solar, by the way, is not new to CBR. Trina Solar is kind of partner because we've talked about Trina Solar and its effort in the renewable sector in Egypt. But now we're going a bit beyond our borders, and we want to introduce the topic of renewable through the eyes of an expert, through the eyes of Trina Solar. So would you please introduce Trina Solar to our listeners from all across Africa?
Trina Solar is one of the leading companies for the PV industry. Trina Solar have been founded in 1997 in China. And we can say since that time, Trina became such a leader in the R&D innovation. And we started to elevate the programs for every critical innovation is happening along the stage of the years, starting from the IoT, starting from the differentiation in the cells, high efficiency module. Trina is almost existing in 100 countries, with headquarters is existing in Zurich, Tokyo, the headquarters in Dubai, which I'm talking right now, in China as well. So we are having a presence with our product is more than 120 countries, and we are more than 15,000 people. Trina can be considered one of the top tier 1 companies the PV industry, and for the bankability, we are ranked almost the top bankable company in the last 5 years, which is really main access for when we are talking about introducing a company in the PV industry. We are all around 15,000 people work for Trina, and we are happy to be a part of Trina.
Well, when somebody knows about Chinese brand, I was part of another Chinese brand previously. Some might think that the majority of the business usually comes from the Chinese market, and then the brand try to expand internationally. But I think the case with the Trina Solar is totally different. So the majority of your market is actually within the international market, correct?
This is when it comes for the firms or for the corporates which they have a strategy. They don't like to do the centralized market. So that's why they do the diversity and they do the expansion globally. That's the easy way to build a well-established network to have your business growing somewhere. We cannot deny that China as a business is one of the biggest market as a consuming part of the PV industry, especially that they are the place where the PV modules are produced and purchased over there. So we can say, yeah, we have a biggest market share, but the proper strategic companies and the big corporates, they are always aiming to expand overseas, and that's why they start even having separate headquarters and having a separate office in each region to make sure that he's covering the globe.
Fantastic. So now we're talking Middle East and Africa. And as we can all tell that we can see the transition to renewable energy, it has been already accelerating in the last decade, but we can see now it's at its best, especially for the African countries. So how do you see the renewable energy performance first of all, currently in the Middle East and Africa countries? I'm sure that we are talking about on a best estimate. So, but how do you see the performance of the countries? What are the countries and who are the countries that are taking the lead now to build the needed infrastructure, to utilize the resources? We have seen efforts in some countries, but how do you see it as a leader in the renewable and in the solar energy part?
Thanks, Summer. You know, this question actually can be covering most of our conversation of today. So if I will start from the early beginning about Africa as a continent, geographically, we are talking about the most solid soil for having a solar. It's the continent which is having the more bright sunshine hours, and it's the more bright country from the irradiation for the solar. So if we are checking the world solar map, that we will find all Africa is in orange and it's yellow, which indicates that this is the best environment for having the solar energy, because the irradiation and the levelized cost of energy, the ROI, the return of investment for any system in Africa, it's gonna be one of the best models which you can implement. Then when we talk about the second point about the solar business or the renewable business in Africa, there is right now, that's why Africa consider as a potential business, because there is a shallow of energy mix. You know, that when we talk about the energy mix, we talk about different pillars. We talk about the energy accessibility, the electrifications, and the grid connection, and the other resources of energy which it had been used already in the country. So right now that we can see even that this rich continent, which they have all the resources for the renewable, from sun, from hydro, from all other kinds of renewable which it can be used, it didn't be utilized yet. So that's why for us as a corporate or for us as as a solar companies or as the developers or something, it's for us as a good opportunity. It's a really good potential to come to the virgin markets, to a virgin continent, which they are still didn't utilize all of it, to educate the market, to start work on the regulations, to start to help on making the clear guidelines for each market of these markets to make sure that we are delivering the best in the future. So after that, when you said about the growing markets, which is the second point, which is in Egypt, then we can say that the markets in Africa right now is seeing two different levels. One is really growing very fast, and one is still in a very slow motion countries. So most of the investment and most of the growing right now is going in the south part and north part. So if we check the countries which they started to utilize the renewable in their countries, we will find in Africa, South Africa is number one. Then it comes Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Namibia, which we are talking about the two poles of the continent itself, but still the sub-Sahara and the other area, which is still, it's not really utilizing as much as they need from the electricity. So we can see these countries is already right now is talking about gigawatts of installation, or a few hundred megawatts of installation based on the reports came from EFI or from RENA. So, and the other countries, we will find that they are still working slowly on the regulations and investment in the solar. So what makes Africa is really potential. That's as I mentioned, from geographically, that they are the many hours of bright sunshine and the shallow of mixed energy. It's a growing market. Then we come to the point of the energy accessibility. You know that if you check the maps of every country in Africa, that there's a lot of urban areas and a lot of rural areas, which they don't have really access to the grid. They don't have access to the electricity. So making the cost of getting the generation of from the grid, making a transmission line with a high voltage transmission substation to give a feeds for these small areas or the small villages, it's really costly. So when we are talking about the alternative, which is something they have, it's the off-grid system, which it can be done for a small villages or for a small houses, which they don't need all this investment, which we said for the electricity, electricity access, to get it from the generation to the transmission to the distribution. So they can utilize a small PV system off grid, and it can feed the country itself.
Thank you so much for painting such a picture. Really, it's very promising, very, very promising. As you were talking, I was just visualizing the map, and I can see lots of opportunities across our continent. As you rightly mentioned, IRENA, in their reports, they estimated that if all like the resources needed to have and utilize the wealth of opportunities we have in the renewable energy, and specifically in the solar energy, the sub-Saharan Africa by 2030, they're going to have 67%, of course, roughly numbers we're talking here, of their energy needs fulfilled. So opportunities are massive. As you rightly mentioned, some countries are more active and they have started the race already before of others. But what is the role of private sector here, or how do you see the role of private sector in like enabling, in encouraging other countries between the south and the north to make use of the wealth and mine of opportunities they have? How active are you as Trina Solar in promoting the renewable energy and making the business case for other countries to start utilizing and benefit from this opportunity?
This is really good question. Thanks, Summer. But when we are talking right now about the energy sector or the private energy sector, so we are talking about the main customer right now in Africa. So if we can divide our industry in a three main segments, we will find the utilization, the utility segment. And then we talk about the CNI, the segment which you are talking right now about it, which is the commercial and industrial business. Then we talk about the residential business. So utility business is a government business which comes for investment from the World Bank, from the financial institutes or something which they build a big solar planets in hundreds of mega to cover the big area to give access to the grid. Then the segment which you are talking right now, which is the most active and critical segment in Africa. To come back again to the same information I was telling you about the energy accessibility or the electricity access to most of the areas. So we find that in the private sector, from the end, like I'm talking about when-to-when, like as a customer or as a Trina as well. So the customer themselves, to have this energy access or the electricity access to their malls, mining fields, companies, warehouses, industrial zones, or you can name it, whatever in the section of the CNI, that they are paying a lot of money for the fuel cost, because the fuel cost is really expensive in Africa right now, as it's a limited resource, and the transportation inside the Africa is really expensive. So we are talking about really high billing for these customers. So when we are as a Trina started to talk to our customers, and we will give a free consultation for them why they should need to go, why they need to utilize the solar system in their budget or in their capex, because we will achieve for them the best levelized cost of energy, which it can in a 2-3 years program or less than a 2-3 years, it can make the ROI. So instead of he is paying that whole bills, that we can offer him and educate him about choosing the right product, the right components of the system, the right installation, because we are talking I'm talking from Trina perspective that we are one component out of 3-4 main components in the solar project, but we are 60-70% of the project. So just to talk to the customer about performance, about the return of investment which he is gonna do when he will implement a reliable solar energy system and a warranted good product in his factory or in his company or in his mining field or whatever we can name it. It makes the customers really being able, because as you know, as any of technology, and the people they don't know how much it's gonna cost them. And like me and you now, we will talk about the nuclear business. We don't know much about the nuclear, so we just consider it's really something big. So, but when we come with the simple ideas, simple models, and simple studies for the customer, we motivate the customers to take the steps and to start to invest in making the solar energy system for their business. And I can tell you that this is the most growing business in Africa today. That's why we are leveling this CNI as the winning horse for the 2020 and 2021 and even 2022. Because it didn't depend on the government or anything, it depends on the customers, and the epidemic is making an issue right now. So that this is the winning horse, the winning segment horse in our industry for the coming 2 years and the last year.
I used to come from the industrial domain business, and as you rightly mentioned, the bill for the energy, it was huge, and it used to consume like 1/3 of our costs. Now, with the introduction of renewable energy, the shape and the components of the energy mix has totally changed. and it's going still to change. For the industrial sector, how do you see the energy mix? How do you see it in the coming 5 years?
So yeah, for the CNI business, that's what I'm just seeing right now. That's really the customers started to make their initial proposals. They started to make sure that they will make a variety of the energy mix, because as I said, that this continent is one of the richest continent for renewable energy. So getting to the customer with the right knowledge and making the customer to know that we are really gonna help in defining the proper business for them, that this is really the main access for getting this business to be rapidly growth. And as we said, that it will be the growing business for the coming 5 years even, because it will be a big part of sharing. This is the people which they feel the bill themselves. So that's why there will be easy initiative for them if you will find the real partners, the right partners for doing the renewable energy project, that they will do it. So right now, when we talk about the real partner, we talk about the product to trust, and we are talking about local presence. We talking about warranties. We talking about right design, right selection. So all these technical specs, when it comes all together with the good financial model of the investment, that I'm sure that it will really help. And from here, I can say that it became a part of our main daily job. That we are educating the customer, we are educating the markets, we are trying to spread the word about the innovation, about technology, and how we can make the modern renewable energy utilized in Africa fast.
Thank you so much, Diaa. And I really see this as one of the commitment of the private sector towards local markets, to build not only to build the business case, but to build awareness about the issue and about the topic. And we've just had a similar case with the fertilizing business, and also they talked about their effort to educate the market on their business. Now let's come closer to your network as Trina Solar and your presence within the region, Middle East and Africa. I know that your regional hub is in Dubai, where you're currently talking to us from. But tell us about your network within Middle East and Africa.
Let me just, before I come to the network, I just wanted to highlight to you that when you said it's a commitment from the private sector, that I will just come back to this point. You know, when we are talking about the commitment, it doesn't only comes from the awareness and from the communication, because as you know today, we are in a digital life, and everybody have an access for every data in the market. So to be the guidance and to be the real consultant for the market, it's something which is really big. You need to be honest to the customers which you are talking to them. You need really to present to this customer or to this promising region, as we are saying that it's on fire right now. So it needs from everybody of us to make sure that we are delivering the latest innovation. We are really working hard with our R&D, with our technology. We are presented to the market which comes to the best, because I think that now the race is really high and everyone is trying to get the best of it. Everyone, as I said, it's a virgin continent and everyone is running to get the creme de la creme from the market. But what it makes the sustainability for you as a brand or for a private sector company or a private sector supplier, that you need to build this sustainability based on the innovation, the effort, the R&D, the expansion which you are adopting since years. Not today, because the market started to boom or started to grow, that you will start to try to grab it. Because as you know, that's every day in our industry, you will see a company is going up and going down again. like going up for 1 year and going down again. If you check about the top 4 companies in the solar business, the last 5-6 years, you will find the names are changing daily or monthly. The companies is bankruptcy and companies is growing because of one shipment or one head. So while we are talking now about sustainability, how to make the business sustainable, is just to make sure that from the technology perspective, from the innovation, you have the latest to the market, you have the best, you are honest, and you are doing your strategy to sustain. Like if you, as I said in early beginning of our interview, that Trina in the last 5 years, we are in the list of the top 3. We never go down. Then from the bankability perspective, we never go to bankruptcy. We are a top bankable for the last 5 years, as per Plombier report. So then when we talk about the business for Africa or the business for Middle East, we really have a strategy for sustainability. We have our quotes. It doesn't make really important thing for us to win or to hit and run for one project. That's why we consider every customer to come to the network part, which you said. Every customer for us is a partner. There was one question that I was being asked, what is your iconic project? I said I'm dealing with each project which I have in the business the last 5 years as an iconic. So when we talk about the 300 kilowatt project comparing to the 100 mega project, I'm dealing both of them as iconic because this 300 kilowatts, he really did achievement when he was the first one to utilize 300 in his sector or in his house, or he did the best structure, or he did the best installation. So I cannot nominate a project to be an iconic project. So talking to my customer, every customer feel the same importance. Every customer feel that he's having the one and only. He's doing the project which is the latest in the market, because this is our mission. This is our message to motivate these customers to make sure that they are gonna grow day by day. And there's a lot of cases for a customer we build with them 100 kilos, then you can look at them today, that they are the tycoon in the ABC field or the installation field. So for doing the selling itself, we have a local presence, as I said, from the headquarters of Dubai. We have a presence for Middle East and Africa. We have a team on ground in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Kenya, Egypt, and here as well, and Morocco. So we are covering the whole region with physical presence from Trina themselves, as well as we have a very strong distribution network, making sure that we are assigning a distributor to serve the customer in each country to make sure that availability of the product and the latest of the deliveries and the support which the customer needs nearby, so he can have a double support. He can have back-to-back support from Trina, account manager or regional manager for the region, and at the same time he will have it from the local distributor. So it's been a journey for us to build the team, but then we were trying to make this network satisfied in terms of warranty, terms of quality, terms of getting a reliable product and getting a bankable company in their back to make sure that they are having a sustainable business, to make sure that we will success at the end of the journey.
What a passionate spokesperson you are. Really, what a passionate spokesperson. There is something in the communication business, we call it answer the unasked question, and you've just answered a couple of my unasked questions. So really,
maybe I thought I'm talkative, but
thank you so much for speaking from the heart and for the elaboration, really. And yes, I agree with you that if we deal with any project as the iconic project, as the biggest project, definitely we're going to spread the message, and definitely we're going to have a list of powerful, satisfied customer who speaks about like the business and who speaks about the brand as like the ambassadors of the brand. So thank you so much, Diaa, for this. Okay, and now you mentioned that you have physical presence in many countries across the region, but I have a question here I want to ask. Some of the solution providers, when they approached governments or state bodies, sometimes they go with a solution that has a financial arm, so that you can go in a kind of triple P project or partnership with the country to help them drive the project, establish, especially when it's a mega national project, and there is a financial arm that comes through the brand, through the company. So does Trina Solar have this kind of approach, that sometimes you approach clients, and here we're talking about governments, not only with the technical solution, but sometimes with a financial facility?
Thanks, Summer, for the question. And this is really the main conflict point with the people. Sometimes they don't know the structure of the organization of the project, especially when it comes for the utility level project. So when we are talking about utility level project, this is really different from the segment which we were talking right now. The CNI, or the residential segment which we were talking right now, there is someone is having a private entity, wants to buy Trina product, and he will get a contractor to install the product, which is back to back, simple as it is. But for this kind of project, that's we know that there is the government, which is the owner, or which is the decision maker or the end user. And then it comes the next level, which is for this project, someone is called the developer, which he is the one, the solution provider, you name it, is the developer company, which comes for me and for X and for Y, and for that to provide a complete financial and technical model to the government. So sometimes it's the developer job, that he's the one. Like when we name the developers, we know that we have in the region really some big developers like Masdar, Aqua, IMEA, whatever we can name them, EDF. So all these developers, when they are working, they will be responsible on the two things. And sometimes they can come to us and they said, yeah, or if it's a startup developer and we can see a potential of connection and they are really coming with the right model, then we can do a support. We can support our developers, we can support our customer to get them an access to the financial institute, to get an access for a financial company which can help them to go together for technical and financial project. So as we are at Trina is providing it, we are helping our developers or our customers to get the financial capabilities, or to open the doors for them, we can say it that way, to open the door for them to have access to the financial fund companies or the financial institute. So yeah, we can just make it as a service to make sure that we will success together for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Diaa, for this answer. Okay, Diaa, you talked about R&D. So what's next in the solar energy in terms of innovation?
This is actually a very sensitive question, but what I can tell you, just keep tuned. You know, as long as we are the company which is always coming to the market with the recent. Okay, as you can see today, that we are before we were the first one to have the 500 modules. Before it, we were the first company to have the 161 modules. And right now we are having the 210 modules, which is our Vertex modules. So this is the biggest cell, which is the M12, the 210 which we can say the topic of the street. Everybody's talking about the 210 today in a bad and a good way. But we are happy to hear that, because it's as the technology of Vertex and 210 It's same as any new technology comes. If someone with like 20 years ago will tell you just drop your landline and you will have a phone with a camera, it will come with you, then you will just say no. It's unaffordable, or you will just start it to get an excuse not to have. Yeah, you will get the excuses not to have to it. So what I'm saying when it comes for R&D, don't think that's a company which deal in billions of dollars business, accommodating, leading the market, that they will come with something which is not really good and technological to the markets. So right now, we are getting bigger in the modules. We are getting really high in the efficiency of the modules. So as long as we are doing that, it comes as a benefit for the customer, and it comes as advantage for the markets themselves, because the fair competition is really make it really easy for the markets, because everybody of us is like trying to get the best to the market. We are trying to do the best service, the best warranty, which at the end I consider it, we are serving the industry. We are serving the market itself. The competition is really high. I really appreciate all the competitors, and I'm saying hi from your channel right now to all of them, because without them, we will not have all this racing technology here. We will not have this competitive price, which makes the financial model in the market really competitive compared to any financial model in the world. You know, this in Middle East and Africa is the cheapest financial model you can see for a renewable energy business. This is all because of the competition. So we need to say thanks for all of them, because they really made us do our best to get with the latest of R&D and the latest with the innovation. And at the same time, in Trina, when we are accommodating or we are having a new technology, we don't through our legacy product. At the same time, there is some items in our industry which is the fast moving item or the standard items which we consider them a legacy. So we never leave them. So if you check our portfolio in terms of compatibility, you will find that we have the product for all the segments from A to Z.
Thank you, Diaa. So, well, we can feel that there is lots of excitement coming on the solar energy part, and with an eye focused on Trina, looks like we're having some good news to come, and they will not be short. Sharing. Okay, yeah. So before we close, let me know what's on top of your priority for 2021, Diaa.
It's the same agenda which we are doing from the last year, just to make the real recovery from the COVID-20, from the COVID-19. Then it was the really challenging year 2020. So right now that we are making sure that we are recovering, make sure that we are delivering to the markets the best of it. In our agenda for Africa in 2021, specifically, that we are growing faster over there. We've been making sure that there is availability for our product, getting the customer experience easy and fast, and making sure that our local presence really available in each zone in Africa, especially it's really huge to cover it one by one. And with all of this time, and as I told you, that we are educating Africa, and we are telling Africa, here we are.
So you said to recover from the pandemic, and 2020 has been a challenging year, but I assume that it was one of those damn good years for your business, because it accelerated really the adoption of technology. So if we were planning to have, now we moved into action. So I think that's a lot of excitement for Trina Solar being so active.
That's true. That's true. Recovery, when I said it, it was not from Trina perspective only, and I'm saying from the world perspective, because when we are talking about the innovation and industry itself for us and for the sales of the last year, it was really good. That's if we are talking from our perspective. But as you see, as we consider ourselves as a part of a global organization, which is the transportation, the cash flow, logistics, and the market itself, and the installation inside some of the project which had been on hold because of some lockdown in some other country. So it was a recovery for all these people to come back on the ground again, and we can see that the transportation and logistics work started to be happening again. These people started to go back to their work. Then this on hold project, because of the lockdowns or curfew in some other countries, started actually to put the products and they started to work again on that. So what really we are happy for it. It was for us like a good time. Then we came at the mid of the epidemic, which is everybody's recovering. Then we were coming with the latest technology to the markets. We were shocking everybody. And from financial perspective, we really did good. You know, we published our financial reports for 2020 and for the first quarter of 21. So no, we did really good comparing to the year-to-year or the year-to-date targets. But at the same time, that we are really pray for everybody to stay healthy and safe, and we make sure that everybody will recover again, and make sure that all the country which is closed and they have a curfew or cases that they will recover, because when everybody is on track, the business will be booming more and more.
Diaa, have you won your biggest project for this year or not yet?
On the way.
We always love to close at a high note, Diaa. So let's really cross all fingers. Let's really wish all the best for Africa, for the renewable energy, because it really represents the future, and for Trina Solar, and definitely for you, Diaa. Thank you so much. We're always glad, and we feel the positivity when we have an energetic speaker, a young believer in his business, proud to be African, proud to have the dark skin. Diaa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I have enjoyed this interview, and I have enjoyed the dialogue. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. I wish you that you will win the biggest deal for this year, and I'm sure we will come again towards the end of the year to share the updates for the innovation, to share updates for the projects, and what's next for solar energy, and what's next for Trina Solar. Diaa Eed, thank you so much.
Thank you, Summer. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well, I hope that you have all enjoyed this show. Another passionate speaker, African speaker, who is definitely proud of his roots. His eyes are on the future. He represents a strong brand, and he represents the future. The future for Africa is not only in the energy, it's in the renewable energy. That was our show for today. Doing business in Africa, we have covered the renewable business, a special interview with Diaa Eed from Trina Solar. Next week will come with another great speaker, another critical domain, and another topic for doing business in Africa. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.